Hello, I'm Megan Graham, and I just wanted to pop on today. And today I'm talking about three things that I would love to tell you about Lifewave patches that I wish that more people knew. I have been using these patches for about 8 months. Oh my gosh, I got such a nice comment from Debbie in there. Thanks, Debbie. That's really, really nice. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, so I decided to pop on here today to just tell you guys a little bit about these Lifewave patches. And one of the things that I do as a brand partner. So I'm an independent distributor of these Lifewave patches, which means I don't work for the company. I work for myself, but I love to educate people about the patches. So whether you are signed up with me or with someone else, I hope that you're going to get the absolute best results with your patches. So I just like to come on here and talk about the patches. And one thing that I do is to speak about the patches very realistically in a very down-to-earth, reasonable way. I think there are a lot of people talking about these patches, and that's a good thing, but some people will, I guess, promise you the world with the patches. There's kind of a lot of hype sometimes. And I think that if you buy into the hype, they are wonderful, right? But we want to always have realistic expectations, because if our expectations are realistic, then we're obviously going to be happier with our experience and know what to expect. So whether in this career or in my other career in the past, I always wanted to set really realistic expectations so that people know what to expect. So the first thing that I want to tell you about the Lifewave patches, and feel free to jump into the chat at any time, ask me any questions, tell me what you're thinking. The first thing that I want to tell you is that the changes that you experience with the Lifewave patches when you're wearing them are often going to feel more like a glimmer than the shock, than the big changes that people are expecting. So you have to look for these changes in your body. So when you start the patches, I think that the changes that you're going to feel initially are so much more gentle than what you would expect. Because if you've seen the testimonials all over the place, everyone is expecting, absolute miracles. And although I do feel that, these patches have been a miracle for me, I also feel like it was gentle. I am a really sensitive person. I've been through quite a lot with my health. And so if I feel more stamina, more gentle energy, then I really tune into that. But many people are so incredibly busy that they're not stopping every day to actually see, hi Lola, they're not actually stopping every day to see how they're feeling. So they're waiting for some major thing to change. And if that particular thing that they're hoping is going to change hasn't changed, they might think, oh, these patches aren't working. I thought that this would change within 2 weeks. I thought that I would feel, such a difference. It is cumulative. And that glimmer that you feel at the beginning builds and builds and builds, and you do see more changes. But things that are important and things that are going to be lasting and healthy for your body are not going to happen overnight. So one of the things that I always like to tell people is that these changes that you initially feel are so different than what people are thinking. So for instance, the patch I focus on the most is, of course, energy enhancer. Or I'm sorry, I was about to move into that, X39. But when people buy the energy enhancer patch, a lot of times they're expecting it to feel like an energy drink or, drinking 3 big cups of coffee. It is not like that. When your body has that boost and that support that it needs to have more sustained energy, it doesn't feel like an energy drink. You don't feel hyper. It's just a completely different feeling because it has to do with your body actually being supported and working the way that it was meant to work. If you haven't done so, I would so appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button just to let me know that you enjoy this video. If you need any of my links, if you're looking to order the patches, my links are in the description of this video. And if you're not working with a brand partner, you can always reach out to me through my email. If you are working with a brand partner, you would want to contact your specific brand partner that you ordered patches through, but feel free to always ask questions right here where the video is. So another thing that I would like to tell you, and please feel free to jump in if you're enjoying this or you just like to add your experience with the patches, because I always love to hear from folks that are on and listening. But this is another thing, and I see this really frequently. This is your choice, right? But 1 month is not long enough to know if the X39 is working for you. I help a lot of people. I have many, many clients, brand partners, and customers that have purchased patches through me that I support. And one thing that I'll tell you is that I always like it if I've gotten to talk to people first so that I can tell them a month is great, and some people do notice changes in a month. But for most of the people that I work with, they are noticing, some very small changes in the first month and then an accumulation of changes. So my husband had hip pain, and it was after a hip surgery that he had. It never went away after the surgery, so it was better, it was improved, but he was still limping and unable to run and unable to do the things that he really wanted to be able to do. So after he had his surgery, he still had that pain, and he still had that limp. It took 7 weeks of patching to notice a difference in that hip. And I feel like there are many, many folks that are going to try these patches for, 3 weeks, and they've already decided, okay, if I didn't experience this big change in 3 weeks, then I give up on these patches. If you truly believe in the patches, and I'm just going to make sure that my microphone is on because I'm not getting a lot of feedback from anyone. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. But if you really believe in the patches, minimum, absolute minimum, you've got to give the patches 3 months to work. And it's a pretty small amount of time to give those patches to actually see what they're going to do to support your body. But if you try those patches for a month, some people will notice. I have about 10% of my clients do notice the changes, and they do have significant changes that are obvious to them. But there's going to be so many people that if they stuck with the patches a little bit longer, they would really notice those changes. And one of the things that I want to point out is think about going to the gym. I don't know if anybody on here is a weightlifter, if you like to work out, but I personally I was a competitive athlete, and a month in the gym was truly never enough time for me to notice differences. I didn't notice lean muscle. I didn't notice that I was getting stronger. It took at least 3 months to see those changes. So I think it's reasonable to say that if you would like to see changes when you're using the Lifewave patches, the X39 patch, or any of the patches, for the most part, you need more time to see the patch work. Now, I understand that some people are, they're just going to make up their minds. And if you want to use the return policy and you did not buy them, I think it's if you didn't buy them with the retail program, I think you do have 30 days to return it. So I get it. I get why people might do that. But in my experience of working with people, not everybody is going to notice those changes in 30 days. So I really would implore you to give it 3 months if you want to truly see what the patches do. I would love to hear from anyone that's on here. I always feel like I'm talking to myself if I don't get any comments or any feedback. Does any of this make sense to anyone that's on here? Are you using the patches now? Are you thinking about using the patches? I just really like to hear what's going on with people when I'm on here. Otherwise, I just feel like truly, I am talking to myself, I guess, but I feel like I'm really talking to myself. So another thing that I would just like to say, so I have, and some people might not know this, I have signed up over 400 people for the patches. So I have a lot of experience and a lot of feedback. I do check on people. So after they purchase through me, I do send people out an email. I always reach out because I want them to know that I am their support and I'm there if they need help. Any questions that I can answer, I will answer. I don't always hear back from everyone, but I do hear from a lot of people. And so I have a lot of experience in assisting people through this. And these are just some of the things that I have seen as someone who is a brand partner I take a lot of pride in my job, and my job is to assist people in their journey with their patches. And those are, of course, my clients that I assist in their journey with their patches. The free information that I provide is always these chats where I come on and just generally speak about the patches. So what I have seen helping countless people is that I have seen so many people go from not feeling that good to feeling so much better. Whatever the issue is, I've just seen some major changes in overall vitality, just overall feeling. If we were to rate how we were feeling on any particular day, I get a lot of feedback where people feel that they have a better quality of life. Now, I do think that my personally helping them through the process has something to do with that because I can make it a little bit more seamless. But one of the things that I've noticed with people that have great success with these patches is that wearing patches is not the only thing that they do. So, people that have really great results with the patches are generally speaking taking good care of their health. They already care about their health, they're already doing whatever they can think of that will make a big difference, and then they add these patches as an extra tool in their toolbox. They don't I will say that certain people expect these patches to solve all of their problems, and I do always stress that they're not the cure and they're not the treatment if you have an issue. They are for general wellness. And the way that I look at it, when I was a little kid, I was actually my whole life, I was a horseback rider. And if you couldn't get on the horse, if you weren't tall enough to get on the horse, you would have somebody give you what's called a leg up. They would like put their hands like this. You would step into their hands and step onto the horse, no problem. To me, that is what these patches do for me. So they're not the horse, they're not the rider, they're helping you with what you're trying to do. They are a supportive helper in your process of doing everything right, of making sure that you're getting your minerals, your vitamins. And this is not medical advice in any way. This is just plain old common sense. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a practitioner, but I do know that if you are not sleeping, getting enough water, or getting a proper diet, it's going to be really tough for these patches to work their magic. And hello, Vanessa. Thank you so much for jumping in. Vanessa said X39 patch made the tails on my eyebrows grow back as aging had made me lose my eyebrow tails. Yep. So that same thing happened to me as well. And she's talking about this area right here. I had lost mine. I think it had to do probably with my thyroid, and my eyebrows actually, after I used the patches for about 2 months, I noticed that my eyebrows had grown back in thicker. And also, Vanessa, the thing that I noticed is that I had a huge bald spot right here, and that started growing back in baby hairs after 2 months of using the patches. So I have experienced more changes with these patches than I can even explain. But I think it's like I knew that I was committed to using these. So when I signed up as a brand partner, not actually because I thought I was going to be sharing this. If you had ever told me in a million years that my job would be that I get to help people all day with the patches, I never would have believed it. But I signed up and I got 5 months of patches plus an extra patch. Like I think I got an E on as well. And I just had such awesome results that I just started to share them with my friends because I felt really passionate about it. Another really interesting thing, and this is just an aside that I will say. So I just gave my jujitsu teacher some patches because jujitsu is really hard on your body. And I just found out I'm my jujitsu teacher's only student because his body is having some issues. He's having pain, shoulders bothering him. So I brought him 2 months worth of X39. I don't get these free. I don't get a discount beyond a wholesaler. But I brought him 2 months of patches, and he said, I do want to wear these, but I just don't understand why there's no studies on these. And just for anyone that's curious about that, what I wanted to tell you is that when you sign up as a brand partner, which is what I am, all of the studies, there are studies, there's over 100 clinical studies that were done on these patches, and they're in the back office where only brand partners can see them. And I can't really speak, it's not because of the company from what I understand, but just so you know, if you ever want to see all of those clinical studies, you can, for $25, you can join as a brand partner and you can get in there and see all those studies. And it's so fascinating to see that all of this was done, but for whatever reason, it's not able to be shown to everyone that thinks that there are no studies. And it's such an interesting thing. I think for so many people, it's so hard. And hello, Shelly, how are you? Hi from Nebraska. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for saying hi. Are you using the patches now? Are you like, I'm always so curious if other people are as passionate about these patches as I am. So just really interesting thing to know though, that there is so much more information on the patches, but just I think some of it can't necessarily be shared publicly. So if you ever do want to see it, feel free. If you're interested in being a brand partner, message me and I can help you with that. But it is all in the back office. And it's just so fascinating because we've got all these studies that show what the patches do. So kind of an interesting thing. Just curious if anybody has any questions, if this has been your experience with the patches and things. Anybody has anything to say? I probably won't stay on for too long. I did just start a private Facebook community for all of my patching clients, my brand partners and things like that. I started it about 2 weeks ago and it has been such a fun community, kind of fun to go on there and chat. And I've also been doing some live stream videos on my Facebook for everybody that's in my community chatting about the patches. And then I recently, so if you don't know, Lifewave is part of it is just customer facing. So people can just order the patch. You don't have to have a single thing to do with starting your own business or anything like that. But there is another side of it where people can have their own business as brand partners. And that's actually what I do. And I just got contacted. So there is something called an upline, and that's all the people that are above you in your organization. And they actually just contacted me and they invited me into this amazing group, which they have all this information. They have calls every week. They have calls with like nurse practitioners describing how to use the patches. So I'm very excited about being part of that community because there's so much good extra information. So I can't wait to just dig into it. Susan, I did have results. My hair, that's what I was saying earlier. So I wore the X39 that I'm holding and the X49, and I had some bald spots on the side of the hair. And my personal experience was that, yes, my hair grew back on the sides. I think one thing that I also always say about these patches is that everybody's experience is different. It depends on, and this isn't medical advice, this is just my basic understanding of my body, depends on your nutrition, your mineralization, how well you're able to get your levels of inflammation down. Because these days, one thing that I'm finding is that so many people have high levels of inflammation, which is really problematic in so many ways. Could be caused by stress, could be caused by toxins. I mean, there's a million different reasons why people have high inflammation, but getting inflammation in check makes such a big difference as well. Just curious if anybody has any other questions about these patches. My biggest thing is I love them. They made a huge difference. When I started with these patches, my doctor had just said that I was disabled and that I should expect that it would be, she said it would be about 3 years before I would be able to work. And granted, I do not have, and I'm always really honest about this, I am not perfectly healthy now. I am doing so much better personally than I was when I started. But I have still a long way to go to be at the pinnacle of my health. But for me, these have given me such a big push. And the biggest change that I noticed was a huge reduction in my chronic fatigue. And I was so happy about that. But for me, I had a lot of different issues, which I am still working on many of them, but they have made such a significant difference. So, well, it seems like there are not too many questions today. So I think I might hop off a little bit early if nobody has anything to ask or add, because I always just love to hear from you guys. But believe it or not, I might not have that much that I need to say today. Those are the main things. For those of you that don't know, I have a team of people that are under me that I mentor. Obviously, I mentor anybody that actually wants the help and reaches out to me and shows out to my private meetings where I mentor Zoom, in Zoom and things like that. But I do hope to help more people that like to spread the word about these amazing patches. So that is a big thing for me. Susan says, we found mold in our house and I have watched a lot of your videos and that is getting me on the right track. That is awesome, Susan. Yes, I help a lot of people with the patches that have, a lot of my clients have had mold and chemical exposures. So I often help people with kind of by teaching them the way that I did it, which is a little bit different just because people tend to get so sensitive when they have had a mold exposure. So a lot of times we have to do things a lot more slowly than people that haven't had that. I guess it's kind of like a shutdown. I feel like when you have a mold exposure, it feels like everything in your body shuts down to a point. A lot of people get very tired. Their digestion doesn't work. They have brain fog. They might have skin issues. So I have seen amazing, amazing changes. My skin is so much better. My eyes are brighter. My sleep is better. My anxiety is better. Pain in general is better. So there's a lot of great changes, but I'm doing all the right things to get better as well and taking care of my body. And Shelly says, I have MS and they help me greatly. That is so awesome, Shelly. I'm so glad that they help you a lot. I think they're a great, great tool. And I do think same whether, whatever the condition is. So I'm not even saying like for any particular condition. I find that most people that have just any health issues at all, any diagnosis, a lot of times do better starting the patches a little bit slower because they are wonderful, but just kind of warming up our bodies and getting things going again. So I'm so grateful for these patches. They've just been so amazing in so many ways. The patches they made such a big difference for me. And I have so much more energy, vitality. My actual treatments that I do with my physicians make such a huge difference now. And what happened was that I really wasn't going to be able to work for a really long time, but I slowly started sharing these patches with people in a very genuine way and getting this great feedback and hearing, like we had a friend whose knees were just really, he was feeling a lot of pain in his knees and he started using the patches and 2 months in, the pain in his knees was gone. And that was incredible. He does a lot of things. He takes certain targeted supplements and things like that. But these stories have just gotten me so excited. And so over the past 8 months, I've shared it with more and more people. And as much as I hear this all the time. People tell me that they can't stand network marketing or they can't stand MLMs. And I don't like MLMs, or no, actually, no, that's not true. I don't like how every MLM is done. I don't like every product that is network marketing. But for me, it just turned out to be the best way for me personally to help people and to help myself as well, because I finally was able to have a job. And instead of my business that I used to run in Boston cost me several hundreds of thousands of dollars to open. And for me to start a business with patches, really, I could have started the business with $25. That's to enroll and get your own website. But I just bought product and I started a business. So everybody says that they hate network marketing, and I wouldn't want to be part of every company. It's not that I love every company, but for me, it has been the best gift ever. Um, not necessarily, Susan. So I don't really give patch advice per se to people individually. I do it individually. I find out about people. I would say whoever's helping you with the patches, I would ask them what they think that you should start with. I don't think people should first of all, I can't advise people personally on exactly what patch they should use. I do always, for the most part, start everybody with X39. But in my consultations, that's when I really tell people which patches. It just depends. It depends on what people are experiencing and what they're doing otherwise. So I don't really just like throw things out there because I don't tell everybody to do exactly the same thing. But if you have a brand partner, I would ask them. If you don't have a brand partner, you can set up a consultation and I would be more than happy to help you for sure. I do think these patches are great though, and I'm glad that you've heard about them. I hope more people hear about them. Any other questions from anybody else before I go? I always love to come on here and chat, and I just want to make sure that if anybody has any questions, I am here to answer them. It's always nice to come on. So as soon as I came on, somebody had said, like, I forget, she was like not interested. She came just to like say she wasn't interested. The internet is mostly nice, but there's a few like sassy pants people on the internet as well, for sure. Anyway, well, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Just to remind you, my links, if you would like to order patches, my links are there. If you would like to have a consultation with me and you are not wearing the patches from someone else or working with another brand partner, feel free to email me and I can set up a consult. And if you are one of my clients, feel free to write me because I have a new Facebook page that I want to invite you into. It's a private community that's really fun. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. And I hope you have a great week. And I appreciate you showing up today. Bye.